Okay, folks, and now I'm back for part two of the preview of UltiMuse and explaining all the different things about UltiMuse and that. I know Bill Pierce was going to be doing something like this or thinking about it, and I guess I'm beating him to the punch. But anyway, so where do we leave off? Well, we left off with the instruments. We went through on how setting it up. If you have a general Midi device, and I'm going to say this here very clearly, if you have a general Midi device, you do not add the zero, or excuse me, the O in front of the number for the patch. On standard general Midi, it is between 1 and 127. There is some extended Midi units out there that can actually go higher than that. Um, I haven't used those, but it's generally or is it zero? It's either 0 or 1 to 127. So, you know, yeah, I think it is 0. Anyway, so if it was a general Midi, um, in this case here, it would be new patch. Let's see, I think 11. Let's call it 01, or is it 001? I'm not certain. I think it really doesn't matter. In this case, so 001, and it's going to be piano. Let's just say. So, boom. Interesting. New patch number 1. There we go. So it's there's no other characters in there as far as I'm aware of, and can actually check that because I do have a version here. So anyway, I'm going to take and just leave that there. And just for grins so that we can see, reading the score, I have Stars and Stripes for the TG300, which is a general Midi. It's going to take a little bit to read in, and there we go. And so if we go to instruments, and there we go. So as you can see, there's no O in front, so it is just just a single digit. In this case here, Celesta is patch number 9. So there is there's multiple banks, and I believe there is a way to actually include bank information too. But I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going through the basic stuff. So whatever bank that you have it set up for general on your unit, you just select either 0 through 127 for the instrument. So going back, let's go back to Witch's Hill. And so we got through Indus. Now Midi, I'm going to go through this a little bit here. Each part that you can have up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can have up to 16 parts. Okay, and there's been possible plans of extending up to 32 channels to expand it out. So, but Bill Pierce would be just taking a look at that. So you can have up to 16 channels or 16 parts on a score at this point in time, and then you can, for each part that you activate, it's activated if it has a plus. It's not activated if it's a minus. And then the channel. Then you can assign a part to a particular channel. In this case here, each part I have assigned to a different channel. So 1 through 8. That gives me a little bit more flexibility for playing around with how things can sound. Because sometimes, if you've got a piece that's just all for a piano, and you've got chords that on the treble that are 3 notes high, and there is a way to clone a part that'll be attached to the same channel, so you can actually do chords also, and not spread it apart different parts. So a chord of 3 notes can be on one part. There is a way to do that, and I'd have to research that to see exactly remember how to do that. Some things I've forgotten, but anyway, but in the chord you can have the top part, strings, and then the other 2 could be actual piano, and then the bass clef down here for the piano if it's got like 2 or 3 notes on the chords. You can take the bottom row, the lowest, you can set it to like a heavier bass, and then the other 2 set of notes on the other parts can be set to regular piano or other instruments that, so you can get a little bit of maybe a deeper sound. It's all your own taste and all that. But that is some things. And you've got your different, for ranges and such. Update clone channel. You can update certain things. Some of these things, okay, channel on, channel off. If you want to take and turn on a channel or turn off a channel, so if I want to take and turn off a channel, click that, and then the channel, which will be 8, boom, you can see that the channel was turned off. So let's turn that back on. So you can actually turn that. Then there's modes. This sets up which, when you're playing music, the output, either the rear serial port, there's a cable that you can build for that, Midi pack, or if you don't have a standard Midi pack, let's say that you've got a custom Midi pack that you've got a special driver for and all that, and you've got it set to call it /MIDI, then you can select that. Or, and now here's the interesting thing, you can actually take, and instead of playing the song, you can actually play it, but what happens, it actually writes out a standard MIDI file that you can take and play it on other computers and stuff like that. So instead of just the CoCo, so you can actually move things out and bring it to other things. Then playing modes, instrument changes, clock enable, events enable. That just enables different things, such as for your instrument path changes. You can actually have it so that you can lock it in so that if you've got certain instruments and you don't want to have nothing change whatsoever, it won't put out the changes. You lock it in the music itself. Clocks enable, that puts out the ticking and all that to keep things a little bit more in sync, especially if you're like running it to a drum machine and you're sending out the clock signal to your MIDI devices. It can keep it in time with the computer. Volume master, minimum note number, maximum note number. Then you also have score modes. Score modes. Okay, so you can use clocks, so it's not activated here. Your transpose, So you can set different things. So you get different tools that you can go with here. Um, these down here are for drive wire 4, so that you can actually play to drive wire and such. And then this is what I was talking about before for the volumes, for like softest, a little bit louder, pretty much standard volume, a little bit more louder, mega louder, then very loud, and then very, very loud, and then extreme loudness. You can set these different levels here, so that, like I was saying, if you want to say the minimum, instead of being 1, you could say set it to 5 or 6, and so on and so forth. And that, and then for even spacing, it just gives it so that. Okay, could you bring this phone down? Sorry, folks.